Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, then I'm Melanie and I share some of my daily life. I talk a lot about depression and anxiety and issues with the police and issues with a lot of things really. It's hard to describe what my channel is about. It's really hard to describe what my channel's about. You would probably have to watch quite a few videos to kind of get a grasp on what this channel's about. This channel is a lot for me more than other people. Like, I have this channel where I do want to help people, I want to give people advice, I want people to learn from what I've been through and my mistakes, and also I want it so I can look back and say, oh, I did that a year ago, or this is how I felt a year ago, this is how I felt 6 months ago, 3 months ago I was doing this, like yesterday I did that. That's one of the main reasons I started this channel, was for myself. Of course in time this channel's become more than just documenting my life, because my original idea was to document my life in the sense that I didn't have any confidence, I didn't leave the house, I didn't talk to people, didn't interact with many people, I had severe anxiety, I did not like being out of the house. I put myself in a job where I had to be out of the house, I had to deal with people. It was like I was dealing with the public every time I did that job. Originally the job was just one evening a week, and then I did get more and more work as my confidence grew. I started this channel 2 years ago next month. I think it was something like the 7th or 8th of April. So when this video goes up, because I do have a date in my head for this video, 2 weeks from now, 2 years ago was when this channel came about, and I didn't do a lot of videos on it. I did videos for about 2 months and then it just became too much. I started again in October 2016, and since then there has been a video on the channel most days, and as I film this now there's been a video on the channel every day for a couple of months now. This video isn't about that. This video is about, well, I was thinking about the video content last night, and then in the shower today I thought, do you know what, I'm going to do the video today. I'm filming it around a month before it's going to go live. I'm filming it on Saturday the 24th of February and it's going to go live a month this coming Monday, I think. Or is it 3 weeks this coming Monday? Let me just check. Well, I'm not sure when it's going to go live, because I wanted it to go live on a certain date, but I'm not sure what the date actually is, because it just marks an anniversary of something for me personally, which I'm not going to allude to in the video. I'm doing this video because a lot of my videos I talk about what I've been through. I don't necessarily say what's happened to me. You can read between the lines as much as you want. I wouldn't recommend that where it's not obvious, because sometimes people watch things and they think that person is talking about one thing when really the reality is they're not talking about that, and they're talking about something completely different. With everything in life, everyone interprets things in their own way, so I could have said something without even thinking and you could have potentially thought I was talking about something completely different. And I think that's the beauty in life, that everyone sees things in their own little way. Right or wrong, we see things in ways that the next person wouldn't necessarily see it. So a lot of things have happened to me. Probably from some of my upset videos you can probably guess. Some of them were, obviously I've mentioned being attacked by men. Obviously that kind of alludes to certain things that men could have done to me. And this is a video to tell the world what has happened to me. I don't know if I'd ever be able to do that video, or if I did I wouldn't be able to go into too many details or actually name the people. I don't think legally I could name the people. I'm not too entirely sure if I could or couldn't. I know that me saying a name like Joe Bloggs, if that was that person's name, it could mean any Joe Bloggs on the planet. And you know, if I named a person like my ex, if I said such and such, is he necessarily going to try and sue me because I've said his name in a video, because it might not be his name? Then he's alluding to the fact that he is that person in the video. I mean, I don't know if anyone would ever admit to doing what he's done to me. I just wanted to do this video because I have learned a lot in the last almost 18 months now. It was like the first weekend in September, I think, when I was pushed into going to the police. I wasn't given any choice over that. I was blackmailed into it. I basically was told I would lose my job if I didn't, and a lot of people, if you said that to them, they'd be like, well, it's just a job. It was what I had to put up with and go through to do that job because I had no confidence. I was very, very anxious and I was depressed, and to put myself into the job that I was in and do it every week at first was the hardest thing I ever did, and I was scared all the time and I was on edge, and you know, it was very difficult for me to do. Obviously over time my confidence did build up, but for the first 5 months it was hell. Like, it really was hell. So I was blackmailed, and like my former boss was screaming down the phone at me, and I just gave into the pressure. Based on that, and based on what I know, and based on how the police have treated me, not only with that case but other things that they've done, and the way they've made me feel, and how they've basically victimised me themselves. They've made me a victim by their actions, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to mention names. I've mentioned names in previous videos, and you know, this isn't what this video is about. Based on me going to the police, I would say don't do it. Even if you're willing to give every little piece of evidence that you've got, don't do it. The reasons why I believe reporting certain things to the police are the wrong things. You have to be a very strong person to go through with it. For a start off, you have to be confident, you have to have no anxiety issues, you have to have led a normal life, a typical normal life where you've had no issues in your life, you've not really had anything bad done to you, you're very outgoing, you're very outspoken, you know, career driven, you know what you want from life, you know who you are as a person, you have no real issues. So if you're going to go to the police, you have to be that type of person. You can't have confidence issues or depression or anxiety or anything bad happen to you that's kind of torn you apart and ripped you apart in the past, because you're not going to be strong enough. You have to be strong to report something very serious to the police. The police come along and they rip your life apart, so you have to be a strong individual for that to happen, because even though, yes, you're the victim, to the police that doesn't matter if you're the victim. Like, when I did the video interview, Melissa, one of the DCs, there was two, there was Karen and Melissa. Melissa said to me, don't worry, we'll get him. Like, she'd already made her mind up on what I'd said, that he was guilty. But even though they're saying they're on your side, which basically she was saying to me at that point, they're not on your side, because they are going to tear your life apart. They're going to investigate you more so than the person you've said has done this. They're going to go into every little bit of your life and they're going to rip it apart. They're going to turn up constantly, they're going to ring you, and if you don't answer, they're going to turn up your house. They're going to stress you out. They're going to make your life a living nightmare. It's not easy, it's really, really hard. Then they'll say you've said things you haven't. Like, one day she came to my house and my car was parked out the side of the house and I weren't here, and she said to my dad, Melanie said to me she doesn't leave the house without her car. I never actually said that to Melissa, but she wanted to make him think that I told her basically I was in the house if my car was outside. That's not the case, and it's still not the case. I can leave the house without my car. There's things called taxis, there's getting lifts off other people, there's, you know, walking. You know, I wasn't at the house that day, but she had, you know, said that, and when I found out she'd said I'd said that, right away I knew there was lies being told to me. You know, your life does get torn apart. They investigate you more so than the person you're accusing. So, and also you've got to be prepared to show them who you really are. because of everything that's happened in my life, I don't show every part of who I am. I show a little part of my personality, but I don't really give too much away. I've always been like that all my life, but when you go to the police, you can't hide who you are, even if you're not hiding any deep dark secrets, even if you're just hiding parts of your personality, because you're so scared of people getting to know you, because every time they do, bad things happen. So you've got to let your guard down and really let them in, which I didn't do, and I didn't know I was doing wrong or coming across wrongly to them, because I was just doing what I've always done and giving a little bit of me. So obviously they're going to make up their own opinions on you based on no actual factual information or anything really. They're just going to get little bits on you and then make up a whole slew of things about who you are, which isn't actually true. So you have to be completely 100% transparent. You've got to give them every side of you, even if you struggle to give anyone, like the majority of you, you've got to do that. So to report things to the police, first and foremost, you have to be very, very strong. You can't have had anything bad happen in your life, because if something's crumbled you in the past and torn you apart in the past, getting the police involved in your life on something else, they're just going to destroy you. They're going to lie about you, they're going to make up things about you to suit themselves, basically, especially if you don't show them who you are in the full extent, rather than giving them a little bit of yourself because you're too scared to let anyone see you. So this video is mainly to say, don't go to the police if anything bad's happened to you, but don't do what I've always done and not tell anyone, because I've had so much stuff happen to me and it's all coming to a head now, and this is why I'm doing this video, because it's starting to break me. I'm starting to fall apart because stuff that's happened to me a week ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, it's all starting to hit me and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm struggling on a daily basis. I am very down. I can go from feeling okay and not okay in the broad sense, just okay as in I'm not crying my eyes out at that particular moment, to feeling lower than I ever felt before, planning out my own ending, writing notes like about my life, like to leave so there's explanations and all that. So I would say the most important thing anyone can ever do is tell someone what's happened to you. Do not tell the police. You go to your doctor, you speak to a friend, you ring a helpline, you speak to a family member, just someone you can trust enough to open up to and tell them what's happened to you. Going to the police is not the answer. Maybe one day it will be, but the most important thing to do, especially if you're not a strong person, is just speak to your doctor, a family friend, a helpline. That's the best piece of advice I can give to anyone after what I've been through the last 12, 18 months, is just talk to someone. And if something continuously happens in your life like it is in mine still, just make sure you're telling at least one person when it's happening. If there's any injuries, like I've currently got injuries from being tied up, they're not going to show too well, but I've got them on both hands all the way around. I mean, this is like a week and a half later and they're still there, but I did have red bruising and marks all the way around my hands. So just any kind of bruising, anything, you need to just tell everyone. Make sure whoever you tell remembers the dates or writes it down, so then there's a log of it, whereas in the past I weren't telling anyone, I weren't showing anyone anything. So that's the two most important things, that you open up to someone and tell them what's happened, and if it's still happening, you go and tell them every time it happens, basically. And it could be anyone, it's a friend, a doctor, a teacher, anything like that. Just make sure you tell at least one person what's going on in your life, because if you don't, and then you eventually one day do tell the police and you've not told anyone, they think it's strange. Even though if you've never told anyone anything in the past and you've always like protected people or hidden things, they'll still think it's strange even when you try and explain that. So the most important thing to do is just make sure you tell people what's happened to you, and even if it's just one person, you can ring victim support, you can ring Samaritans, just make sure they write it down. And that's the best piece of advice I can give to anyone after everything that I've been through, is just tell one person, make sure they know what's happened to you, and you know, telling that one person does make it a little bit easier because someone knows and you've said it. And I've felt ashamed in the past about things that have happened to me and too scared to talk about them, and I still feel ashamed about what things have happened to me. And I said that to someone else the other day, that I felt ashamed and, you know, disgusted and horrified, and they said that I had no reason to feel that way, and I said, but I do. And you can't help how things make you feel. If something makes you feel a certain way, please don't feel guilty or bad for making you feel that way, because you can't help how other people have made you feel. You can't. They've made you feel that way. They're the ones that should feel bad about it, I guess. And that's what I've been learning these last couple of months, because I have started to discuss things and open up, and I've learnt that I am not to blame. And, you know, but the best thing, and I'm going to end this here because I need to go and open my front door because I've left my keys in and someone's trying to get in. Just to open up and tell someone, that's the most important thing. And don't tell the police, because that, unless you're the strongest person ever, that's the worst thing you can possibly do. Just speak out. And if anyone's watching this and they need someone to speak to, then I am always here. You can private message me and I'll try and help you the best I can.